surrounding Cotswold Hills. And it's this end of town you've got the chain stores and the chain restaurants mostly. This building work had to be approved by UNESCO, the United Nations Cultural Organisation. It's actually a composition of Bath and Portland stone. Portland stone is more durable, and that's Bath stone's big disadvantage. It's soft, so it didn't take off hugely elsewhere. You see the viaduct for the railway constructed out of brick. The bridges and viaducts are built out of brick, and Brunel had this viaduct all faced in Bath stone originally. The river is the River Avon. If you're Welsh, I'm sure you'll know that Avon is a Celtic Welsh word. In use today it means river. The Celts pushed westward to the hills of Wales during the 400-year Roman occupation, and they didn't name their rivers. So this is one of several rivers called Avon in this country, and River Avon really means river. On the right, this is all due for redevelopment, where you see the multi-storey car park. The warehouse with the red brick on the left would have gone up before planning rules. The international headquarters of the structural engineers Buro Happold worked on the new Wembley and Olympic stadiums in London. Turning into Avon Street, this street was notorious in the period for horrible pubs where people got very drunk on gin. Drunk for a penny, dead drunk for tuppence. Good for gin. This side of town was where the poor lived. The streets were narrow, unsanitary, squalid, badly lit. This side of town was where the beggars, the rip robbers, the pickpockets, here to make their living lived. And the ladies of the night worked this side of town. So why did this place become known as the Valley of Pleasure, Britain's premier social and cultural resort? What was going on? Well, of course it was a new build, and for a group of super rich people, they called themselves the Ton or the Company. This was their Monaco, their Las Vegas. They came here to gamble. We're not far from Bristol. John Palmer from Bath got the journey from London down from 3 days to 36 hours using a relay of lightweight coaches designed for speed, not comfort, and they carried the King's Mail. Well, you could all come back, put yourself into the new 5-star Gainsborough Hotel if you haven't done so already. It was opened in July, it's got 90 rooms, and it's got its own thermo spa, the only one in the country with its own thermo waters. It's there with the new stone. They dug a borehole into one of the springs. Down this alleyway, the new thermo spa, there'll be people bathing in the rooftop bath under the stars, even in January. And if you want treatments, you can bathe any time, but if you want treatments, it's best to book up in advance. They do get booked up quickly. Up the hill in front of us on the left, where you'll see an umbrella, the building behind is the entrance to our lovely theatre. It was a house, and it was lived in by the individual who, by force of his personality, made Bath respectable and fashionable, a professional gambler, Richard Nash. He was a fashionista, a dandy, and he earned himself the nickname Beau Nash, or the uncrowned King of Bath. You can't think of Bath without thinking of him. Eustonov Theatre coming up on the right, sculpture designed by the actor's son. Now we're in the vicinity of the home of William and Caroline Herschel. Their house shows you how middle-class people live. They were German, they were brother and sister. This place attracted intellectuals and celebrities. And William played music at the Octagon Chapel, which is now Burger and Lobster Restaurant. If you walk through, you'll see the Octagon Chapel. With a homemade telescope, William in his back garden doubled the size of the known solar system with the discovery of King George's planet. And this is where they live, down this hill, second set of lights, New King Street. So the discovery of Uranus, or Uranus, as it was renamed, doubled the size of the known solar system. John Wesley came here, founded Methodism, spoke to 4,000 people and told everyone he'd come to Satan's headquarters. And this is one of the oldest parts of the city. It was laid out in 1728 by one of the handful of architects, John Wood the Elder. Known as the Elder as he had a son with the same name, also an architect known as the Younger. This was the most important parading area until it was superseded by the Royal Crescent. Try and imagine it without trees. When we get to John Wood's masterpiece, the Circus, no trees there either. This was meant to be Rome. The Romans were here for 400 years. And the next stop is for the Jane Austen Centre. The writer who's going on our £10 note shortly, do be careful of this, lady and gentleman coming down at the back, Darren. My teeth in. Sorry. The Jane Austen Centre is across the road on the left, where you see Mr. Darcy with Lizzie Bennet. She never lived there. It tells you about her writings and life and times. Regarded as a genius in terms of English writing, mentioned Bath in all of her stories, except Persuasion and Northanger Abbey. On the Skyline tour, you see where she completed Northanger Abbey. She wasn't fond of Bath. It was too modern and too brash for her. The square, dedicated to Caroline, wife of George II, this being a Georgian city, 1714, 1837, the time when there were 4 kings, all called George, from the House of Hanover in Germany. And this is the stop for the Jane Austen Centre. Now, if you're a Jane Austen fan, you might be interested to know she lived in 5 homes in Bath, 4 on this side of the river, 1 no longer exists. Her main home you'll see on the Skyline tour. She did live behind us, up the hill on the right, number 25, there's no plaque. Now her father was a priest, a vicar. They had money, but not lots and lots of it. All these houses you see were actually available for rent. If you couldn't afford to rent a whole house, you rented a couple of rooms or just a few, just a couple of floors or just a few rooms. By the way, high season was between October